Hi everyone, it's Ken here, and today I want to share you guys a wonderful interview that I did with the one and only Ben Bluemond. He's currently a Special Olympics athlete right now who has been doing running competitions for quite a while. He's based in the Chicago area of Illinois, and he's been running since high school, and also has an Instagram at Ben Getting Around. Love the pun, by the way. This account where he not only shares about his accomplishments as a runner, but also talking about his personal life a little bit and sharing some inspiring thoughts and quotes that he has about his life as an autistic person and what he would like people to take from it. Really inspiring stuff, and it was really a great pleasure to actually get to talk to him, get to know him. And especially since this is the first time that I actually got to interact with him directly, which was pretty kind of intimidating for me because I ended up being a bit nervous. Most of it because of the fact that I was really excited to meet him, and this was kind of the first time for me actually getting to meet him directly. But despite that, I was able to get through it very well. It was really exciting, and I actually got to know a little bit more about Ben and what drives him and what motivates him. A lot of it was just really awe-inspiring and gave me a lot to think about, because a lot of the things that Ben said really wasn't just about him and what he wants to do for autistic people out there, but also kind of spoke to what drives me to do what I do. Because with this platform, I not only just want to talk about my experiences as an autistic person, I also want to get to know people in the autism community, as well as to explore issues and topics that are related to the autism community, and to elevate and really reach out to people out there and share those stories with others, because I think there's a lot that I can learn as well as other people can learn from perspectives of other autistic people out there, for sure. And so with that said, I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode. And while it's short, I think it's very informative, very inspiring, motivating, and has a lot that I think each of you would definitely love to hear and learn from. So here we go. My interview with Ben Bluemond. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Autism Experience. Today, I really have something really special to talk about here, because today I'm going to be doing a wonderful interview with the Ben Bluemond. We've kind of met online briefly on Instagram. He's currently an athlete in the Special Olympics right now at the moment. He also has an Instagram at Ben Getting Around, where he posts a lot about his achievements, what he's been doing, and all that stuff. And so, Ben, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ken, and it was nice to meet you.
Yeah, and nice to meet you too. And so I think the first thing I want to ask you, just to start us off, is could you tell a little bit about yourself to all the listeners out there who may not know who you are? Yeah.
Sure thing. My name is Ben Bluemond. I'm 22 years old and I live in the Chicago area. I'm an autistic individual, and I've grown up with autism my entire life. I was diagnosed with developmental disabilities at age 3 and autism by age 6. I was nonverbal for most of my early childhood, but with a lot of therapy, I was able to grow and talk and do a lot more things in life. I am now a Special Olympics athlete and focused on growing my running career.
That's a pretty good summary, Ben. Yeah. And I think that leads me to another thing I want to ask, is that part of how I discovered you was through Instagram. Because I'm looking at your Instagram, and I see that you have a lot of posts where you talk about what you've accomplished as an athlete, as well as some really nice words to talk about, especially about your life and how you got here and all of that. And one thing I want to ask is, what kind of inspired you to start an Instagram to talk about all these things?
What inspired me to start an Instagram account?
Yeah.
All right. I wasn't much of an athlete or into sports when I was younger. I wanted to share my journey with my sport and growing up and adulting with autism. There are a lot of young kids and young adults and their parents who are very scared for their future. I wanted them to show and inspire them that they can do something good in life once they put their minds into it. Really special things can come to them in life. I hope to continue to grow my Instagram and move into YouTube soon, doing a lot of things.
And speaking of that, you said earlier that you weren't initially into running and exercise at the beginning. And then now here you are as an athlete competing in Special Olympics, which is great. Good job. Um, how did you ended up getting into running and exercising, kind of growing up? How did you get into that?
I wasn't much of an athlete when I was younger, but my parents actually pushed me to join track in high school, mainly to make new friends. I had great supportive teammates when I was there, and I fell in love with the sport almost immediately.
Mhm.
And I started off as a sprinter when I get to my running career, and then as time went on, I evolved into a full time distance runner.
I see. And what do you like the most about just running and exercising and all these things that you're doing?
I loved how it made me feel, and it gave me strength and confidence as I improved. And after high school, I was recruited by a private coach through a high school friend. And then I got this new training program, and I've been with him ever since. I'm very grateful to have met him and that my parents pushed me into the sport. I got a lot of opportunities in life out of it too.
And then it's through that is how you kind of um, got into all of this. And it seems that your parents are very supportive of you and what you're doing, and that it really helped to sort of help you with making friends and really giving you that confidence to kind of go out there and do all these things. And I think all of that is just pretty inspiring, though, for sure, because there are a lot of people out there who probably want to do what you do, but they're not sure about what to do and where to go. And I think that your platform out there is just a really great way to kind of out there and kind of show that that you can do it. It is possible. And that's something that I kind of dealt with when I was younger too. I used to not be into running and exercising, but then high school kind of got me into that. And I mean, it's a long story, but the idea was it just gives you that kind of energy that you don't expect, in everywhere else and all that. And that's great. And speaking of that, I want to ask you about just kind of about what you do to do the stuff that you do. Because as someone who likes to work out a lot, I'm really interested about what you do, like exercise, routine, what you diet, all of that. If that's not too personal, I was wondering, what do you do in order to make sure that you perform well when you do compete and do all this running, so that way you perform your best?
For those that want to be an athlete, to find the sport that you truly love, I met some kids whose parents try to push them into the sport but really don't like it. Find one that you really want to do and do some with it every day. Be patient. And it's very hard at first, and stick with it because eventually it's going to get easier and you'll get a lot of confidence. I try to do some sort of exercise every day. Sometimes I have intense, hard practices on other days. I try to swim, bike, weight, lift, or jog. The key is to do some every day so you don't fall out of routine. Like do a little bit of cross train here and there, and like do a long run, short run, recovery run here and there.
And
I eat protein, fruits, and vegetables. I drink a lot of water. I still like to have sweets here and there, but I try to save that for those later in the evenings.
I see. I see. So you do have some sort of plan. And I think you have a coach. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes, sir. I do have a coach.
Okay. How long have you been kind of doing all of this? Like, working with a coach?
I'm coached through one of my high school final meets, and I've been with him for about like 3.5 or 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
It's the end of my senior year in high school. And then he lets all sorts of these practices. And then I just got a new training routine. And he's shaped my running career for the better, actually. And he kind of inspired me to get to Special Olympics.
and and Special Olympics, and then speaking of Special Olympics, I just you're now a Special Olympics athlete. How long ago was it since you first started?
Oh, it was not that long ago, actually. Literally, like a few months ago, I believe. And I can't believe how much of an impact I'm already making over there, and how much of a difference I'm actually making.
Oh, great. And how do you liking being a Special Olympics athlete so far?
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's actually one of the best things that's ever happened in my life. I was grateful for the opportunities that Special Olympics has offered me, as I got a major meet next weekend.
It's great. And doing all of this, I think it's just really amazing. And just looking at how far you're growing and you're progressing, um, I think it's just really amazing that you've done all of that. I think that it's powerful because I don't think I've met as many like you who have done all of these things. I think it's incredible for sure. Yeah, and it makes me wonder. I mean, just with all of this going on, and now that you're doing in Special Olympics, and one thing I wonder is, where do you see yourself in terms of your career or personal goals in the next 5 years?
I hope to continue growing my to continue to grow my running career and be an elite level in the Special Olympics and other competitions out in the world. I'm expanding into winter sports this year and will be taking up snowshoe racing. I also want to race internationally, and my family's in discussion with an organization currently called Athletes Without Limits about joining them and, and qualifying to run in different events around the world. I can't wait to tell more people about it soon. I also want to gain a large following on Instagram and YouTube so I can continue to encourage and inspire children and young adults with autism, especially. I like to be in a position where I can maybe host running camps or get invited to speak at events and get kids involved in the sport more and get comfortable with themselves.
Right. And to kind of walk back, you said something about, was it snowshoe? Or something? Is that correct? Well, I was wondering if you could explain what that is a little bit.
A little bit about snowshoeing. It's running in the snow basically, but you have like these little like tennis racket thingies that you run in the snow with. You can do like a 200, 400, 800, a mile, and a 5K running in the snow on hills and flatlands. Basically, it's like the running in the winter basically.
Oh, oh, so that's what snowshoeing is. Wow. It
Yes,
must,
it is.
yeah, it must be hard, isn't it? Because you have all that snow and you kind of have to push it. So,
Yes, sir. But
oh
I'm
wow.
challenged though.
Oh, that's really amazing. Where was I getting at? So yeah, it sounds like you really are really set out to really make an impact on your community, not just competing, but you want to give back to people, and especially through what you mentioned earlier, these training camps for running, um, you know, just really inspiring people and really kind of helping people who may want to do what you're doing. I think that's really impressive, though. I mean,
Thank you.
yeah,
It's excellent.
yeah, absolutely. And I th- I think earlier you mentioned that you wanted to do a YouTube series, which kind of leads me to something I'm asking. Because I remembered I read your article on embracing special needs. Yeah,
Hmm.
that website, and that's kind of how I got to know a little bit about you and what we kind of talked about. And you mentioned about a video series, Adulting with
Hmm.
Autism, and I was kind of wondering, could you tell our listeners more about it and what are you going to do with that series?
Well, I'm working on with my family right now. I'm planning for this, and which is going to come in later times. I am very excited about it though. It's super exciting stuff. I'm not sure yet how it will finally look once I put it into action, but the goal is to share a range of information about daily life skills I've learned that will help me get around in life and function day to day, as well as information about my childhood, adulthood, and the things my parents taught me I did to help me grow. and share a little bit of aspects of my training stuff, my personal life, and a little bit about running. We hope to have this started later in the year or even the next year, whenever possible.
Oh, I see. So it's gonna be come soon. So yeah, and definitely, I think that's pretty useful. I mean, this is sort of like a next step for you, I think, and definitely for sure. And so if that comes up, I would definitely want to check that out. I think that people have a lot that they could learn from you and your story and about a lot of things. Because for me, even though I'm autistic, there's still a lot that I don't know. Because I think everybody who's autistic, they see things differently. Not everyone thinks the same way. So I think that it's really great that you're doing that, for sure. Yeah.
Of course, we're all learning different things in life, Ken. I absolutely believe it. There's a lot of things we're all learning and growing in life.
Hmm.
So it's completely understandable. And I want other people to know that.
Yep, absolutely. That's fine, and it's interesting too because when I first started my YouTube series, like podcast and all that, I wasn't sure how people would think, and then I remembered that when I started my Instagram account and all of that, I just realized there's just a lot of love. There are people who love to be around autistic people, are really interested in them. I remember, I think you were one of the first few people who kind of said hi, on one of my posts. The first few people back when I was barely starting out. So
Hmm.
it's that giving back thing. I think that's really amazing.
That's awesome. When did you start Instagram, by the way?
Oh, I started it last year. I think it was in February or March. Yeah, yeah, a long time, a while back, last year for sure.
Because I started Instagram. I started really posting on Instagram around like November, December-ish. Like it was a little like I didn't start posting until like November basically through this account, and I didn't realize how fast that I didn't realize how fast that we were gonna thrive on the site. It was just amazing how it was a lot faster than I thought it would be.
I remembered. I remembered when I first like saw we kind of I saw your profile. I remember it was barely starting out. I think was it 400, 300 followers, and then
Yeah.
5 months later, it just shot up to 2,000. I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like
Well,
you really got a lot going there. For sure.
right now I'm almost at 4,000 right now. I'm currently at 3,800 something right now, and I'm almost at 4,000. And I'm excited about how fast things are growing right now.
Yeah, for sure. I hope it keeps growing. I think you have a story that people should hear and that people could look up to. For sure. And that leads me to, I think, one last thing that I want to ask you is, what advice do you have for autistic people out there that, especially for some of them that want to do what you're doing?
Well, let's see. For those that want to be an athlete, find a sport that you truly love or anything you truly love. I've seen some kids whose parents try to push them into a sport, but they really don't like it. That's what happens with a lot of parents. Some parents do push it to the extent where kids actually don't want to do it anymore. Find the one that you really want to do and do something every day about it. Be patient. It's a lot of hard work at first, and stick with it because eventually it's gonna get easier. Even though it may not seem like at the beginning, it's gonna get easier. Trust me on that one, and it gives you a lot of confidence. If you are autistic but they don't do a sport, try to find something else that you like to do and can put your whole self into it. I get inspired by people who follow me on my Instagram who are really good at music, cooking, painting, programming, poetry, writing, and all this other stuff. That's very exciting to see.
Yeah, definitely, sure. And I could sort of relate to that last part when you said like don't push people into it. Like find what they truly love. Like let them grade out. Because when I started out, growing up, in when I was 11 or 12 years old, I think maybe in elementary school, I remember my parents wanted me to play drums for sure. And I remember just not liking it because it was not my thing. Because sometimes I'm very sensitive to loud noises. I think that a lot of autistic people are like that. They're sensitive to loud noises. And while I kind of liked it, it wasn't something I was into. And so I ended up kind of leaving drums, and I ended up just looking around and exploring myself. And that was when I kind of found this platform, this Instagram, exercising, using weights and running around, which is something that I'm really proud of, and volunteering and helping people that probably are in the same boat as you are, or all of that. And I think that goes back to how if you want people to grow and be themselves, you gotta let them shine. It's let them explore and then find themselves and find out what they really love to do and what they're good at, and work at it. Let it grow like a flower.
Yep. You just can't force things early on like that. That's how mistakes happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so you gotta give it time and ease into it. That's how success happens.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a saying, let their nature work. Everyone has unique talent.
Mm-hmm.
Let it go and just work with it. Yeah, for sure.
I know what you mean.
For sure. All right. I think that kind of wraps it up for us here. So I want to say, Ben, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. I think it's just really meaningful to have you on here and to really talk about these things. Because even though this is really short, I think that a lot of the things that we talk about here are really help set the stage for anybody else who might want to look into your story and to look at what can they do to be successful, especially for autistic folks out there who probably trying to find that spark to really keep them going, find what they love, all that. And Owen, before I go, so where can people reach out to you just for a check? So you have your Instagram, is that correct? Just
correct.
Your Instagram right now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you can reach out to Ben at Ben Getting Around on Instagram. That's where he's at. And your YouTube series is coming out next year. Is that right? Yeah, next year.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
All right. So if it does come out, I'll definitely watch it and share your show. Because definitely, I'm really excited.
Thank you so much, Ken. It was also nice to meet you too. And thank you for the opportunity, by the way, to be on the show. I deeply appreciate the opportunity, and I'm very grateful for it. Of
course. And thanks to you too for coming on. It means a lot to just be able to talk about these things and really get to know it. So that'll be it for the show. Thank you all for listening. If you guys like the show, check out and subscribe on wherever you get your podcast, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, all that. You can also find me at the Autism Experience. And with that said, thank you all for listening and have a great day. Take care. Hey, thank you all for listening to this podcast. If you guys like this channel, check out and subscribe to this podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you all get your podcasts. For social media, you can follow me at The Autism Experience on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you all for listening. Stay tuned for more from The Autism Experience.